Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Matthew Mumbles. My name is Matthew, and on this podcast show, I pretty much talk about anything I want. My life stories, my interests, things I'm excited for, my opinion on things. Pretty much a talk show purely about me. And, stuff I talk about, whatever. So on this episode, we're going to be talking about Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. My last episode was about Godzilla -1, and in that episode, I pretty much went into how I was excited for the movie, but I feel like people were overhyping specifically the design, and how I was worried that this might affect Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, because the two movies are being released both in America in such a short amount of time, and it's going to confuse people. I know this for a fact. Even if you market it correctly, people are not always going to follow all the marketing. They're going to see one trailer, oh, new Godzilla movie coming out. They're going to watch it and realize, oh, there's another Godzilla movie. But which one's which? You get it. So, but before this starts being into a Godzilla -1 discussion, we're going to start with Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire strictly and what I hope happens. Now, I know in the past I've dabbled on Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire a little bit, but that was more out of the fact that of things that I wanted before it was confirmed to be the new empire. I'm here to talk about what I want now that we know a bit more about the movie and what it's going to be, because now we know it's a team-up movie, not a versus movie. The last time I talked about what I wanted from it was like it to be a rematch. I wanted there to be a crystal cut winner, even though the last film did have a winner. It was Godzilla. And if you have not seen the movie, like, come on, it's been out for 3 years, and it's the 2 years, and it's like one of the biggest movies of 21. It saved the theaters from the pandemic, that sort of thing. So, but yeah. Honestly, I feel like looking back, I was a bit, outraged at the team up, but the team up's fine. I'm shocked that they were able to do both anyway, so, yeah. I'm going to be going kind of in depth of what I want in this film, which now we know it's a team-up movie. Godzilla and Kong are going to be teaming up against another monster, and I'm not going to be discussing any sort of leaks, rumors, because those are just speculation, okay? I know for a fact that not all the leaks are true, because some of them completely juxtapose stuff from the previous MonsterVerse films, and others are fake outright, so I'm not going to be addressing those leaks. What I will be talking about, though, is specifically things like the plot synopsis and whatnot, and what I hope. Okay, enough rambling. So, let's go ahead and talk about it. The one thing that I want first and foremost is a much more dense and rolled out movie. Here's what I mean. King of the Monsters, in my opinion, is the best MonsterVerse film. Unpopular opinion, but I know it's, in my opinion, my favorite. It has, in my eyes, the right amount of kaiju action and storytelling. I will say that character development is a bit on the iffy side, but like as far as like overall just giving you everything and anything, just having this big wacky story filled with amazing CG, because King of the Monsters does have amazing CG. Yeah, there's times in the movie where it does look quite iffy, but not all CG is going to be perfect. Then again, versus Kong had, in my opinion, better CG than King of the Monsters, but mainly because of how hazy King of the Monsters was. But whatever. King of the Monsters, in my opinion, was the perfect balance. And it was a longer, much more dense story than versus Kong actually ended up being, which the transition from King of the Monsters, the fact that it took its time, it gave you exactly what you wanted, it felt so off-putting to a faster-paced action movie like Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm not saying Godzilla vs. Kong is a bad movie. It's not. It's a really good, entertaining movie. Like, I'll honestly say, I had a blast watching it. But, like, the fact that it came off right off the heels of King of the Monsters, which, again, was a longer film that took its time, a much slower paced, but when it got going, it really got going movie that was so big, so dense, had so much layers of story. It's like serving me a cake with so much layers. We go from a cake to a cupcake. Versus Kong was a very short movie, coming in at just shy of 2 hours in total. King of the Monsters surpassed 2 hours. And honestly, that kind of was ultimately its biggest downfall. It's just, I'm not, again, referring to Versus Kong as a bad movie. It just feels off-putting with how fast-paced it was compared to the slow nature of King of the Monsters. For Godzilla X Kong the New Empire, I just want something similar to Godzilla King of the Monsters. And regardless of what people say about King of the Monsters being this stupid movie, which I don't agree with that whatsoever, I don't understand half the complaints with King of the Monsters personally. Probably because they don't understand the source material behind it as much as someone like me. I personally hope that Godzilla X Kong is not a fast-paced movie film, but more of one that takes its time, because, I just hope it's more dense like that. Also, I hope that, I know this is going to sound weird, but I hope that there is more scenes balanced between Godzilla and Kong. Because I feel like Versus Kong was a bit too one-sided with Kong, when there was a lot you could do with Godzilla. Why not show more of his worldwide rampage that was, so to speak, in the movie? All we just did was see him attack an Apex base, swim around for a few scenes, and then the Hong Kong battle started, and that's it. That's literally the entirety of Godzilla in a nutshell in the movie. Kong, on the other hand, had this whole subplot, which is basically the main story of the film, that just goes from one point of the neck to the next. We got to see the Hollow Earth, but I feel like it would be cool to see Godzilla in that environment. Please? Why not just do that as well? We were actually supposed to get a fight between Godzilla and Kong in the Hollow Earth, which would have been absolutely amazing. But, yeah, I hope that there's more scenes with Godzilla and Kong balance in terms of screen time. Why not give Godzilla, 20 minutes of screen time? I know that seems like a bit much, but y'all had the budget for that. I know for a fact you guys did. You guys had the budget for Kong to give him 20 minutes. Yeah, Godzilla only has 11 minutes of screen time in that whole movie, which feels very odd to me. But regardless, I hope that that sort of thing gets remedied. And in my opinion, one of the things that I hope happens in Godzilla X Kong the New Empire, please bring in another Toho monster. I know I'm a bit greedy when it comes to that, but I mean, King Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan, and Mechagodzilla, they're the big five, but I think it's about time y'all bring back someone very niche. Why not bring in Anguirus, Anguirus was a kaiju that was, hinted at in King of the Monsters, you guys remember that skeleton that was outside of Godzilla's temple before it got blown up? Yes, that is Anguirus, or supposed to be a reference to Anguirus. Make it a story where millions of years ago, this Godzilla and this Anguirus were once, thought of together. Then they were in a battle with the creatures, let's say King Ghidorah. Anguirus got badly wounded, so the most radioactive place for Godzilla to take Anguirus to was his own temple before it was ultimately flooded. And so he brought Anguirus there to heal, but Anguirus unfortunately succumbed to his injuries, and that's why his skeleton was left there. Because Godzilla took him down there to try and help him, but unfortunately he succumbed to his injuries. That would be an emotionally grabbing way to tell Anguirus in the Monsterverse. The groundwork has already been set up. Just buy the rights to Anguirus from Toho, boom, let it happen. There's so much opportunities for this new movie, and I hope that they take those routes. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Matthew Mumbles podcast. If you guys liked it, definitely subscribe to the channel. Jesus loves you. God bless you all. Go out there and spread the gospel. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, everyone.